Hey guys, today we are looking at a brand new indoor security camera from a company that takes your privacy seriously, and it's called the Eve Cam. Let's check it out. Welcome back, friends. If this is your first time here, my name is Eric. If you're into smart home automation, and especially HomeKit, you're definitely in the right place. Today's video is a part of my HomeKit series. Actually, this thing only works with HomeKit, so if you're into Lady A or Google, unfortunately this will not work for you. For full disclosure, Eve did send this out to me for a full honest review, but if I don't like something, I'm definitely gonna let you know. If you guys have any questions, definitely check out my full pros and cons list on my website, which I'll leave a link down below with affiliate links if you do want to pick up this product. So Eve has been making smart home products exclusively for HomeKit for a few years now, and they are known for their 100% privacy, meaning that they're not going to store any of your data on their servers. They have no Eve Cloud, they have no registration, and there's no profiling. If you do decide to use their app, they don't even ask you for your email address. If you want to, you can work exclusively out of the HomeKit app and call it a day. You don't even have to use their app. But I gotta tell you, the Eve app is probably one of the best free HomeKit apps out there. But today's video is not about the Eve app. It is about the brand new Eve Cam, and this is their newest product. So let's go ahead and jump in the box to see what comes with this. Inside the box is the camera itself, which we will talk more about in a moment. It does use a micro USB wire, which I totally don't understand because it's 2020, it's a brand new product. It definitely should be using USB-C. It also includes a double-sided adhesive and a little circular metal piece where you can actually screw this metal with the included screw to the wall and then magnetically attach the camera to this little metal piece. It also has a really small power adapter and a bunch of different plugs depending on what country you are in. To get the full functionality out of this camera, you will need an iPhone or iPad with OS 13.4 above, and you also need a Apple HomeKit hub, which can be a HomePod or Apple TV with tvOS 13.4, or even an iPad with 13.4 that's designated as a home hub. You'll also need a Wi-Fi, which, by the way, this is one of the brand new ones that works with 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, which is a band that's a little less used. So that's awesome they got the 5 gigahertz in this camera. You'll also need an Apple iStorage plan. If you can have the one with the 200 gigabytes, you only allowed one camera. If you go up to the 2 terabyte plan, they give you up to 5 cameras. And what's really nice about this HomeKit Secure Video with those 5 cameras is that the storage is not counted against your actual storage limit. So you don't have to worry about filling it up, and all your footage that you have from your camera is stored for 10 days. As you can see, the camera itself is all matte black, which I kind of really like. The front of it does have a little shine, which is fine, but the rest of it is all matte black. Personally, I like the look of this. Now, the camera itself is affixed to the base, which does flex down 90 degrees forward, and you can also tilt it back another 90 degrees for a total of 180. You can also rotate it in a full circle, 360 degrees, so you can definitely get the perfect viewing angle. Although I did find it weird that there was no setting inside the Eve app to invert the footage. If you want to hang this camera upside down, unfortunately your footage will also be upside down. Hopefully in the near future they'll give you that option. On the front, you do have the 1080p camera, which shoots at 24 frames per second at 150 degrees field of vision. Now, you might ask why they did not do 2K, and that is because HomeKit Secure Video does not support 2K. It only goes up to 1080p, so they're only matching that currently. It also features an infrared motion sensor, which does get exposed to HomeKit, so if you want to trigger automations based off those motions, you can definitely do so. There's also 2 infrared lights, which does go up to about 5 meters or so, which I'll show you some of the footage I got at night in just a few moments. Of course, it has a microphone so you can hear what's going on, and if you want to talk back, it does have a speaker, so you can definitely do that two-way communication. And then kind of on the back bottom of the camera is where you place the micro USB wire for power. At the bottom of the base, you do have the QR code where you can set up with HomeKit. But one thing I do want to point out here is this is a magnetic base, and I gotta tell you, this thing is super strong. I actually put this little piece of metal dead center and I could not physically get it off. I actually had to get a knife and pry it off. So that magnet is definitely super strong. Now to set this up in the app is super easy. I'm actually going to do this in HomeKit first, and just like all other HomeKit products, you just go into Home app, hit the plus at the top right corner, hit add accessory, and it'll ask you to scan the QR code, and once you do that, it's gonna add it automatically. Now you do want to assign it to the proper room, and then I ask you what type of recording options that you want to do. And this is all up to your personal preference. For my testing, I am going to stream and record for both home and away, but you might want to change these options depending on where you're putting this camera and what your personal preference is. A lot of my HomeKit secure video cameras are actually in windows pointed out, so I actually want those to stream and record even when I'm home. But if it was an indoor camera, I might actually turn off that camera altogether when I'm home and only stream and record when I'm away. It all depends on where you put it and your personal preference. Now before we look at the footage, I do want to point out some other settings in the Home app, which by the way might look different from yours, is because I am using iOS 14 beta. Not to worry, before you know it, the full iOS 14 will be out and you'll be using the same one that I am. Now in addition to the camera itself, it also has an accessory, which is that motion sensor, which you can trigger automations based off that motion. So if you want to trigger on a light, or if you want to do something special, you can do that all through automations because of that separate accessory. Now in notifications, there's a couple settings that you should know about. First one is allowed snapshots in notifications. Personally, I don't understand why they did this for, because even though I do get a little snapshot in my notifications, it is so small I can't see what it is. Maybe they have other plans for it in the near future. Maybe it has something to do with tvOS where something might be bigger. Next one is status change notification, which I've been seeing when I change it from maybe stream and record down to streaming, it will send out a notification to everyone in your house that has access to this camera. So if other people do have access to your cameras and they either change the status or even turn off the camera, you'll definitely get notified. Next one down is get notified if the camera goes offline. If for some reason someone unplugs it or something else happens, maybe you lose internet access, you're getting notified that the camera is offline. And then the next one is the activities. So if you do have motion, you do want to get notified, and you can receive those notifications. You can limit it to a certain time of the day, or if you're home or not home, or if other family members are home, you can limit when those notifications go out. And then of course you can limit it to specific clips that are recorded or all motion is detected. Personally, I'm only going to do it when a clip is recorded, and you can designate when the actual clip is recorded in the recording options, where you can see earlier where we did stream and record for both home and away, and right under that you have more options where you can do a recording anytime a motion is detected, or you can do a specific motion. Secure Video does people, animals, and vehicles. In my testing, it's not that great in detecting this just yet. Hopefully as they progress with HomeKit Secure Video, it's going to get better and better. And then you have facial recognition. Most of this doesn't work just yet. They are adding and tweaking things as I've been using the beta. You do see here recent faces. You can add names to these people. Apparently it's supposed to work with your Photos app and people that you put your names in your Photos app. It just hasn't been working for me. Hopefully that will work in the near future, because that's a exciting feature that I see for the future. You have activity zones, which is really cool to help reduce some of those notifications and recordings. If you have areas of the screen where you know you don't want to get notified or record, you actually create a zone just by clicking on it and kind of drawing the area that you want to get notified, or even drawing the area that you don't want to get notified and just reverting it. What's really nice is that you can do any shape you want. You can do multiple shapes. I tried to put in as many as I could and to see if there was a limit limit, and it never stopped me, although you cannot overlap any of the zones. And then if you need to turn off the status light or the night lights, you can definitely do that here. Personally, I turn those off because I stick my cameras in windows pointing out, and you don't want those lights to be reflected on the windows, so I turn off those lights altogether. And if you want to use the EVAP, you can definitely do so. You don't have to. You can use the HomeKit app and don't worry about the EVAP, even though I do highly recommend the EVAP. It is just an awesome HomeKit app. By doing so, you do get a couple extra data points. Like you can see a chart of all your motion and motion events, last time there was motion, and pretty much all the same features that you have in the Home app, except for the HomeKit Secure Video. You cannot see any recordings in the EVAP. It will take you right back to the Home app, which then you can look at the recordings. If you do want to download a clip, you can do so just by pressing the load download button and then hitting next and telling it where to save it. Most of the time you're just going to save it for the photos, but if you want to email it out, you can do it right here. Personally, the footage is pretty good. You can see the 150-degree field of vision, so you can see everything that you need to see. And when it came to night vision, I did start having some minor issues, both with the footage starting to speed up and some of the audio actually dropping out. I'm sure all these minor issues that I'm pointing out will be fixed in firmware updates, but I do want to point them out to you. This is a night vision 3 feet away from how do I look. And vision about 10. Night vision about 50 away. So did some audio tests in both directions. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Wow, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Everything I say is getting repeated back to me.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Wow, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Everything I say is getting repeated back to me.
Okay, I'm now testing this on the Home app. How do I sound? How do I sound? Testing 1 2 on the EVAP. Testing 1 2 on the EVAP. How do I sound? How do I sound? I'm not getting any feedback whatsoever. How do I sound?
Testing 1 2 on the EVAP. How do I sound? How do I sound? I'm not getting any feedback whatsoever. How do I sound?
Alright, let's see how long it takes to get a notification on the phone. We are in front of the camera right there. And let's see how long. There we go. So there's about 5 to 8 seconds. And we're going to step out to see the cooldown period. Alright, that was about 15 seconds. Let's go back in. And we're about the camera again. And there we go. We got another notification. So once motion stops, it resets and it's ready for another notification. There is a couple cons I do have with this camera though. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you what they are. I told you I would be 100% honest with you guys. And number one is that there is no SD card or local storage. All your footage is stored in iCloud. Even though it's processed locally on your HomeKit hub or Home hub, it is still stored up in the web, and if the internet goes down, unfortunately you don't have any footage. So I would like to see a SD card or some type of way of having local storage. The other con I have is the price, coming in at $150. This is quite expensive. There are other HomeKit cameras out there that have better specs than this at a third of the price. So at $150, this is quite expensive. But then again, how much is your privacy worth? It does have a commitment to your privacy, which, as Apple says, is a fundamental human right, and I totally think the same thing. It is definitely something that you should not joke around with. So if privacy is a paramount concern to you, definitely I would consider the Eve Cam, even at the price that it is. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. Make sure you smash that like button, let me know that you like HomeKit videos like this. If you want to see the next video in my HomeKit series, check that out right there. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
No, nothing can break me.